Because I was reading your book, A Story with You and Bill Watts.
Oh, I was in Florida for almost a week.
Okay.
But again, I think I was in New York for a while. And then back in those days, the territories, you do all the towns. So after a year and a half, people see you a lot. And you don't want them to see you too much, because after 2-3 years of watching, it's like, I like this guy, but it's the same guy. Anybody new? It gets stale. So once in a while, you'd leave and go somewhere for 5 or 6 months or anything, and then come back, and then you're fresh again. So Bruno called up Bill Watts, who was booking for Eddie Graham, and wanted me to go to Florida for a while, to get out of New York for a while, and then come back again and do some Bruno protege stuff. And the thing about Florida was, it was the only group in that day who had a television show that showed in Long Island. And so one territory show showed in another territory, and everything else didn't. You had, separate. So the deal I had with Bill Watts was, I'll wrestle in Florida, but on television, I gotta look good, because I can't make Bruno look bad, because it shows in New York. So to make a long story short, I went there for a couple of days. We come to the first TV show, and I'm booked against the Mongol, who was their #1 heel. And I'm thinking, gee, I'm gonna get a good break, or this is gonna be trouble. So I got what they wanted, to have done, and I went to Bill Watts and said, Bill, I can't do this on TV. This was the deal, make Bruno look bad. So Bill went, well, I'm gonna have to fire you. So Bill Watts fires me. But in the meantime, Eddie Graham, who runs the place, hates Bruno, because Bruno threw Eddie Graham and Buddy Rogers and that clique out in New York in the old days. Because Eddie Graham saw me and he went, oh, you're Bruno's friend, huh? So I knew I was dead. So anyway, so Bill Watts fires me, and here's the funny part. Jim Cornette ran the territory of Georgia with the new TBS show starting in Georgia. And
Jim Barnett, you mean?
Jim Barnett, yeah. And the Omni was just built. And Jim Barnett had wanted Bruno to come down and be on the first Omni show. Worked out a deal with Vince, and Bruno agreed to do it, but he wasn't happy about doing it, didn't want to do it, didn't want to fly away and all that. And when Bill Watts fired me, because Eddie Graham told him to, because I wouldn't go along with the program, Bruno used that as an excuse to cancel out of the Omni, because he didn't want to do it. So when Jim Barnett found that out, I got a call like the day later. The grapevine was like this: what the hell did you fire Bruno's kid for? Now he won't come to the Omni. So I get a call from Barnett that flies me up to Atlanta the next day, Saturday morning, to meet with him and offer me a job. And I get 7 in the morning, I get there, and there's all the guys passed out, because they had an 8 o'clock live TV on Saturday mornings. It was an early show, and the night before they had a show, so the guys were all passed out. And one guy, Bearcat Wright, was a manager in Florida and a manager in Atlanta, and he was there when I told Bill Watts I'm not gonna do it. And I was very polite, going, excuse me, sir, but I just can't, that wasn't the deal, I'm sorry,
Right.
So now we're in this little room, bunch of guys. Bearcat Wright sees me come in, and he stands up, and as Bearcat Wright stands up and starts talking, Jim Barnett and Bill Watts come out of a hallway and are standing right behind Bearcat as Bearcat yells to all the guys, hey guys, this is the kid that told Bill Watts to go F himself. And Bill's standing right there. And no one laughed, because they all went, oh Jesus. And Bearcat's going no one popped over that? And he went, oh, and then he saw Bill Watts standing there once. So Bill Watts and Barnett take me in a room, and Jim Barnett goes, oh, you're a good-looking boy, and I'd really like to have you work here. I'll give you $500 a week, which back then was decent money for a beginner. And, but he's doing it only to get Bruno to make the Omni. So I wound up with a job there, and now Bill Watts says to me, and he's made to apologize to me, so Bruno will be happy. And
because he told you something that Bruno lied to you, which Bruno...
Yeah, because he said something, no, Bruno lied to you about that deal. I went, no, that's the deal. But then Bill Watts looks at me and he goes, I'm sorry, I had to fire you. You're a good kid, I'm sorry. Eddie made me do it. And he's biting his tongue because he wants to kill me. Bill Watts is an asshole, and he wants to punch me out. but he has to apologize so Bruno will come to the Omni. So you can say, oh, he hated my guts. It was great. I mean, he was an asshole, and he was proud of it. I mean, he was a guy that he screwed up, you know, the WCW stuff for a while, pushing Eric Watts down your throat. But at the same time, you know, you got this big corporate structure that had no idea what pro wrestling was. And you got Bill Watts running it, and he was up on the, like, I don't know, 10th floor or whatever, 14th floor. And he's standing on his balcony, and he's taking a pee over the balcony. 14 floors down below him is the food court. I mean, and then the violence, and plus the language he used, you know, to belittle, you know, and you can't do that in corporate people, to talk the way he did. So, I mean, the TBS people after 6 months were horrified and finally got rid of him.